Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So today I want to just talk about something that's been at the back of my mind and a lot of other people's minds, I think. Something that's been discussed in comment sections, at kitchen tables and in workplaces, but sometimes not discussed at all because it feels too big or too close to home. What happens when the machines take the jobs? Now, before you think, oh, that's not really a Wallflowers topic, I want you to stay with me because this story has been told before, 200 years ago, right here in England. And what happened then? And what is happening now? Has everything to do with how we live our daily lives and how we look after our families. It's 1811. England's in the middle of the Napoleonic Wars. Food prices are through the roof. Ordinary families are stretched thin, just trying to get by. Does that sound familiar? In the counties of Nottinghamshire, Yorkshire and Cheshire, there were skilled working people, weavers, knitters, fabric makers, who spent years, sometimes their entire lives, mastering their craft. These aren't unskilled people. These are artisans, people who take genuine pride in what they make with their hands. They earn a decent living and they support their families. They are the backbones of their community. And then, almost overnight, the machines arrive. Power looms, automated frames, equipment that can produce in 1 hour what a skilled weaver takes a full day to make. And not just any machines owned and controlled, not by the workers, but by factory owners, by people with capital, by people with money. These skilled craft people watch their livelihoods disappear, not because they aren't skilled enough, not because they aren't working hard enough, but because someone with wealth has found a way to do it cheaper. Now, here's something I find really interesting, and I wonder if you know this already. These workers, who became known as Luddites, they weren't against technology. That's the story we've been told, but it isn't quite accurate. What they were against was the deliberate use of technology to cut wages, to remove skilled work, and to concentrate wealth into fewer and fewer hands. They weren't smashing machines because they were afraid of progress. They were fighting for the right to earn a dignified living. And here's a small detail I think is worth noting. Today, if someone calls you a Luddite, it's almost used as an insult, isn't it? It means you're behind the times, you don't understand technology, you're resistant to progress. But historians have pointed out something quite striking. The word Luddite was deliberately co-opted. It was the name of a labour movement, people standing together, asking for fair conditions, and somewhere along the way, the meaning was changed, turned around, so that anyone who asked difficult questions about technology could be quietly dismissed. Make of that what you will. So what happened to the Luddites? The army was sent in, hundreds were arrested, some were transported to the other side of the world, but the machines stayed. The factory owners won. But here's what I think is the most important part of this story, and it's the part nobody tells you. The families who survived that period were not the ones who won the fight against the machines. They were the ones who changed how they ran their own households. They grew more of their own food. They made things last longer. They learnt new skills. They shared what they had with neighbours, and they reduced how much they were dependent on a single income. In short, they became more resourceful, more self-sufficient, more resilient. Does any of that sound familiar? So let's bring this right into 2026. Artificial intelligence, AI. AI is being introduced into workplaces at a speed that is honestly quite breathtaking, and the sectors are being affected are not just the ones you might expect. It's not just factory floors, it's office jobs, administration, customer service, accounting, legal work, medical records, journalism. Jobs that just a few years ago people felt they were secure in. A study published by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found something quite sobering. They looked at what happened if AI job losses outpace what the economy creates in new work. And the conclusion was that the whole system could begin to crack. Because if enough people lose their income, they stop spending. And if they stop spending, business struggles. If business struggle, people lose jobs. It becomes a cycle, and that concerns a lot of serious economists right now. I don't know why, but I struggle with that word. So many people are also asking a different kind of question, not just with AI. Will AI take my job? But who actually benefits from all of this? And this is where it gets interesting, because there have been quite widely reported stories about large companies asking their own employees to work alongside AI systems to demonstrate how they do their jobs to help the technology learn. There's a very prominent American technology company. You've probably heard the story. They recently required its employees to take part in a program that involved training AI models based on the employees' own working methods. The employees were understandably quite upset by that. Many of them felt that they were being asked to train their own replacements. I'm not going to tell you what to think about that. I'm simply putting it out there as something worth being aware of. I also think it's worth noticing when someone raises concerns about AI and jobs, when ordinary people say, hang on, this doesn't feel right. They're sometimes dismissed, written off, called, what's that word? A Luddite. We've heard that before. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying technology is bad. I use it every day. And I'm not saying AI is evil. I'm not saying there are simple answers, because there aren't. But I am saying this. The questions people are asking are legitimate. The concerns are real. The history tells us very carefully that technology shifts economic power very quickly. Ordinary families feel it. They feel it first. And the families feeling it first right now are families like yours and mine. Across the UK, the pressure on households is already significant. Job security feels less certain than it has in a very long time. The cost of everything is still high. And now on top of all that, there's this new uncertainty about what work's going to look like in 2 years' time, or even sooner. Some people find that frightening. And I think that's completely understandable. But here's what I've come to believe, and this is exactly why I want to talk about it here on Wallflowers. The families who came through the original Luddite period with the most stability were the ones who had already built resilience into their home life. And the skills they used then are the very same skills that I genuinely believe are our greatest asset right now. Making food from scratch rather than relying entirely on convenience. Growing something, even just a pot of herbs. Learning to mend and repair rather than always replace. Knowing how to shop wisely at food initiatives, at discount stores, at markets, and stretching every pound as far as it will go. Reducing dependence on a single income stream wherever possible. These aren't small things. When the world outside feels uncertain, the security of home becomes everything. And here's something I think a great deal about. The skills we talk about on this channel, the careful budgeting, the from scratch cooking, the making things stretch. These are not skills of poverty. They're not. These are skills of resilience. There's a very real difference between those two things. And in times like these, that difference matters enormously. Mr. Wallflower's and I sit and we talk about this, about what it means to build a life that isn't entirely at the mercy of things we can't control. And the conclusion we keep coming back to is always the same. The more self-sufficient the household, the less vulnerable the family. That's not fear talking, that's preparation. And preparation, I've always believed, is simply another form of love for your family, for your future, for your peace of mind. So if you've ever wondered why I spend a Friday afternoon showing you exactly how I saved over £160 on a weekly shop, this is exactly why. It's never just about the money. It's about building a way of life that holds whatever happens around you. You know, the Luddites who survived weren't the ones who won against the machines. Always remember that. They were the ones who made the household stronger. And we can do exactly the same. I'd love to know what you think about all of this. Are you worried about AI? What it might mean for jobs? Have you already seen changes in your own workplace or in your family situation? Are you already thinking about how to build a bit more security in your home life? And if so, what are you doing? Tell me, because I'm genuinely interested. And if you're just finding this channel for the first time, welcome. If the food initiatives are new to you, if frugal living is something you're just beginning to explore, then please do take a look through all the videos we have here, because every recipe, every haul, every tip, it's all here for you. And you're very, very welcome. This is a community, and communities hold together, especially when things feel uncertain. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please take care. Remember you're loved, and the world is a better place with you in it. Bye, love.